Welcome to Season 3 of the Take the Leap podcast. We want to thank you for being a part of this journey with us.
Whether you're just starting to tune in or you're a longtime listener of the podcast, you can expect to hear from entrepreneurs in all stages of their journey, how they got to where they are, and all the mistakes and victories they've had along the way.
We're excited to share new guests and have some returning folks from our first 2 seasons. Thank you for being here, and we hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome back, everyone, to the Take the Leap podcast. Tori, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I feel like really accomplished today, which is good. I feel like I got a lot done. It's not that I have everything done, but I feel like I got a lot done. A lot of moving pieces forward done, which is good.
Good. That's always like such a good feeling.
I know, to feel like the day wasn't wasted. And I still had like a lot of meetings and stuff today, but it still felt really good. Anyways, we are recapping our conversation with Michael Jonas, which we did chat with him earlier in the year. But I'm really excited that we get to talk about what we talked about, and that you and I are both on what do we want to call it? Is it a listserv, a website? We're part of the Narwhal Pod. So if you haven't gone and listened to the episode and you're jumping in here, go back and listen to the episode with Michael Jonas. But what he really has been trying to build is kind of community infrastructure for nonprofits as well as small businesses to kind of know who are the values aligned service providers, and who honestly that you can kind of like know, like, and trust to work with in a way that reflects people as like whole humans and not just their job titles. I know that what I really like about the Narwhal Pod, at least when I signed up, like you could actually like put information of like how you personally identify, like things that might be, hidden if you don't actually know anything about somebody and how like their identity reflects in what they do and what kind of work that they do. And it's just been so awesome. And I don't know if this has happened to you, but I've had some folks like reaching out to me on LinkedIn and being like, I'm also on the Narwhal Pod and I wanted to just be connected, and I need to go back through and like actually connect with everybody who hasn't done that, because I think it's such a great community, and it's good to know people who are doing good work, who might, be good referral partners, but also just overall be working towards like kind of the same goals and the same values.
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely. And it's there's not really like another, I don't want to call it a directory because I feel like it's more than a directory, but there's not really another service out there that like really you can use to find people who match your vibes, if that makes sense, right? And that's kind of what it is it's like, because I feel like so much of working with service-based businesses is about making sure you're working with the right person. Like you can find hundreds of people who do marketing.
Right.
You can find hundreds of people who do X, Y, and Z accounting, whatever it is, but you're not necessarily going to find people that you jive with. And I think being able to search for somebody based on those parameters is like a really good first step into that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to see kind of where and what direction that goes as well. And another thing that I know that he brought up is how the scarcity mindset is really killing collaboration out there. Like, I mean, you and I are a perfect example, right? We work together. We do very similar things. We may have kind of different ways and methodology. I know that word, methodology. That we use, and different kind of, folks that we identify with, but we never, I will say, like, never mind sharing like trade secrets or like talking about what's going on in our businesses. And I honestly feel like your best collaborators can be folks who do similar work to you. Like, there's a couple of different networking groups that I'm in where it's just so nice to talk to somebody else who can like talk shop at the same level as you, and building in that that kind of agreement, right? That we're going to collaborate, we're going to connect, that we're going to coordinate our efforts instead of trying to compete against each other. And I feel like there's always like great opportunities to learn from one another. Or there's another person who I know who does web development things. He was so sweet. He gave me like a plugin that I can start including on WordPress websites that helps with some SEO related things for markup schema and things like that. And I was like, thank you so much. Because he was just like, yeah, there was no real thing out there. And it was kind of, taxing to have to put it in a different way. So he's like, I created this thing and you can use it. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. Because yeah, I was using a lot of different workarounds because I don't design or create plugins or code in that same way. So I think that there's a lot of value in creating those relationships and realizing that there's enough work out there for all of us and that we can make each other better by collaborating instead of being like, no, this is mine. For some reason, there's a vision of like Gollum in my head of like
my precious.
I don't know why that.
I love that. I'm gonna use that from now on. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
it's true. I hate that mindset so much, and I'm glad that like we're starting to come out of that like as a society, and like I'm glad we're like starting to work together more. But I still feel like in the business community, especially when you first start out, there's just such this pressure to like prove yourself, and I think if you have always been taught that way, that's going to be a natural instinct. But totally. Business is so much better when you start trusting people.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah. Well, and realizing not everyone is for everyone. Like I know that there's certain folks that like that will work better with and jive, with others. Like I am personally not a pushy sales person. We talk all the time about like the bro marketing groups that are like, you need to buy my thing right now, get into the thing right now. And, that's just not like those pressure tactics aren't something that I do or that I use in my business. And I also like when people say like, oh, you just gotta like keep bugging them until they tell you to stop. And I'm like, that feels icky.
Yeah.
That feels really icky, especially if you don't know like what is going on in their life or, I wouldn't want to contribute to somebody, feeling, I don't know, feeling not good feels about something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and like the real life situation I had recently was I don't even know if I told you this. I bought a new car and it was like we saved up for it for like the last couple years because we didn't want another payment. Yeah. It's, used car, but we were looking for things with certain parameters and we did the research ahead of time. We had like a few dealerships on our list that we were going to go check out certain vehicles. And the day of, we went, and the first location we went to, nobody would talk to me, even though it was my car. They would only talk to my husband.
Yeah.
So we left. And then the second place was, the guy was really nice at first. And, we test drove the car I liked the car, but I had some hesitations about that particular one. And there was another dealership down the road that had a couple different different types of cars that I was also interested in. So I wanted to kind of do like a comparison. And I had even told him before test driving the car, there's a couple different ones I'm looking at. So while I would love to find a car today, like I don't know that I'm going to walk away with a decision. Like I just want to test drive this one. So then we get back after the test drive and he immediately flips the switch and starts getting aggressive and it's like, what other cars are you looking at? Where are you going? And I'm like, it's none of your business. He's like, well, you don't want that. And it even came down to like him telling me that like there was another car that they had on the lot that I was interested in. I was like, can I test drive that one? And he's like, you don't want that. And I'm like, yeah, no. And he's like, you want this one. Why don't you just walk away with this one today? And I was like, yeah, I need to think about it. We need to get lunch. It's like noon. We need to get lunch. So why don't we just go? I need time to think about it. So let me just go get lunch. And I'll, and he was, and then he just started getting really aggressive. He's like, when people tell me they're going to go get lunch, they're usually just blowing me off. I'm like, okay.
I would be like, well, it might be your attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got to the point where because he had kept they had taken my car to be looked at so that we could see a traded
The
value.
trade-in value, yeah. Oh my
He
god.
kept my keys. He kept my keys
Did
for
he
the
hold you
longest time to
hostage?
the
Oh
point.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
And I kept saying, I would like my keys now. I would like my keys now.
Wow.
And I was like, we just left. And I was like, I'm never, ever. So anyway, that was a really long story, but salespeople do not differentiate. But if they're car salesmen or, for a business salesman, I feel like those tactics are ingrained in certain people and they just push me away.
Yeah. Oh, also that just feels like, I don't know, gives me rapey vibes.
Yeah. No.
Major.
I literally told my husband
vibes. Yeah.
I told my husband, I'm like, I've dated guys like that. I've gone on first dates with guys like that. And they're the kind of people that I'm afraid of. They're the ones that I would not let them take me home. I would not let them know where I lived. I would say, hey, I wasn't really that interested, afterwards, or I would just not say anything. And they were the ones that would
be blowing you up.
blow me up for weeks on end. If they did know where I lived, they were the ones that would show up. They were that is the kind of person that he is.
Oh, creepy.
Anyway, that was a little bit off track, but
that's okay. No, I mean, I feel like that's a perfect example of what not to do.
Yeah,
because I feel like if and I think that car salesmen are just trained not to let anybody leave the lot without a sale. Yeah. But at the same time, I feel like if you were hey, I'll be back, could we schedule a time for you to come back tomorrow, or here's my car, you know what I mean? If he had approached that any differently, or even said here, this is your trade-in value, or you know what I mean? Would love to see you back. You probably would have given it a second shot instead of being wow, you really, really made me feel uncomfortable. And now I'm just never coming back here ever again. It makes me wonder how many people feel that tactic. And thank goodness Justin was with you.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't have gone by myself for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm really curious. What did you end up getting?
So I ended up getting, it's a Land Rover, but it's their sportier car. It's a Discovery, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
It's more of it's instead of the boxy shape, it's got more of the SUV mom car shape.
The curvy car, yeah. With no hard edges.
Yeah. It's a mom car for sure. It's very cute. It's 2016 and it had very low mileage and it has lots of fun features, and most of all, it has more space.
I was going to say, because you were in a sedan.
A tiny,
right?
Yeah. It was a Hyundai Elantra.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a good car. It was a good commuter car, which I don't commute anymore. But that's why I bought it. And I've been needing something bigger because
my
son comes
bigger.
with
stuff.
He comes with so much stuff, and I'm carting him everywhere. So I just wanted something a little bit bigger, and I was just looking for a mid-size SUV, and I fell in love with it. It wasn't I wasn't seeking out that particular car. That car happened to be on a lot, and I was like, oh, I like that. That's pretty. What is this? And it was in my price range, and
nice.
And you know what? You know who I bought from? I bought from a saleswoman.
Nice.
Who had her dog with her.
I love that. I love that so much.
That's that. And so I went from having those terrible experiences, and I was ready to give up. I was like, you know what? I think today's not the day.
The day. Yeah.
I was so frustrated after that last encounter that we almost didn't go.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I never want a car again. I don't even want to drive again.
Seriously, that would leave such a bad taste in my mouth after that.
Yeah. And so I went to this other place within my head thinking we'd be there for a half hour, an hour, and then we'd just leave just to see what they had. And I ended up buying a car.
I love that.
My husband said like maybe 10 words the whole time we were there because she just talked to me the whole time.
Nice.
And,
Nice.
I mean, she would talk to him, like they interacted, but it was like she knew
that you were,
I was the person buying the car. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
She didn't pressure me. She didn't
Ugh.
Great.
More people can learn from this. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, we went off on a tangent.
Back to the main. No, it was a good story. So the last kind of thing that we talked about was whether or not you should be political in your business.
Yeah.
It's definitely a choice, but Michael did kind of lean on it has heavy consequences because there's a lot of stuff that is being decided at the local, state, and federal level that affects us as business owners. I mean, nobody can deny that what is going on geopolitically in Iran is not affecting us right now. I actually just had a conversation with a client earlier today asking, what if they're seeing any impacts in this, and they work in the financial field, and they were saying like where you would be silly as a business owner to think that what is going on geopolitically is not somehow impacting business, especially if you work with customers or consumers. People are thinking about it, like you don't need to be like, because I think, I always think back to the Michael Jordan quote, like Republicans buy shoes too, right? So like, you can toe the line of what you do or don't say, but I do think that it is worth being involved, being informed, being active where you can, and really advocating for what you need as a business owner. I think that those are all really important factors. And that, well, I would say, especially for like us as women, like some of the stuff that has been coming out at the federal level that could harm, potentially harm us, and, as women, it's important to speak out against those things. So I would agree that, you can choose to be quote unquote non-political, but there is in every choice that you make in your business, there is some sort of socioeconomic and political weight to it. Because silence also indicates a position.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not usually a good one.
No. Also, I will give a shout out. I am proud that Dusty Arab is running. If you're listening to this, I cannot remember what she's running for in Vancouver, Washington. Is it City Council? Awesome. Yeah. City Council of Vancouver, Washington. So shout out to Dusty for being a business owner who is also taking up the political mantle. And also more women should run. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's like another side note is, and I'm not like a political expert here, but like getting involved in your local government, even if you don't like run for city council, but like getting involved in your local government to some degree, going to specific board meetings and things like that, like that's where you make a real change, is in your direct community,
Absolutely. It's not coming out.
There's not a lot that we can do at the top right now, but there is a lot of change that you can make on your local community level. So if the more involved you can get them in your community, the better off your community will be.
Yeah. Well, and there's so many things, right, that impact, like, when you're, but like, not only when you're voting for like your city council folks, Congress, local leadership, but like people who are on your school board, that will impact what your kiddo learns. Like school boards have a lot of power in places. Like I can't even imagine if I had kids that could not read the books that I read as a kid. You know what I mean? Like in middle school, because I do know that there's a lot of, I will just call them out. There's a lot of more red Republican states that ban books that are were like
even here
fundamental to learning. Yeah.
I mean, school boards are messed up like everywhere. Like those people get on those boards, even in progressive areas, and then they are the ones that make it the change because they're the ones getting involved. I will say this, to their credit, the people on that side are getting involved in local government a lot more than progressive people are.
Yeah.
And so that's why these things are happening.
Mm.
And so we need people who are able to do that. And I say that as a person who is very overwhelmed and has a kid and runs a business and is not currently involved in that, you know? And so I do know that that's a problem, but I've also told myself that once he's in grade school, I need to be involved to a degree because I need to know, you know, like what's happening, and I need to make sure that like I can use my voice to make a difference. And so it's like finding the things that line up with you too. Like you don't have to do everything. You don't have to run for city council. You don't have to run for mayor. You don't have to, you know, but what can you do in your area that lines up with your values and your schedule and things like that.
Yeah.
Like finding those opportunities.
Especially if you're one of those people who is feeling really fired up by something, figure out how to change it. Like, I think that frustrates me more than anything is folks who will like complain about something, but never find a way or like a solution forward, to work on it as well. So yeah. Any other thoughts on our convo with Michael?
I mean, like normal, talking with Michael is always a pleasure.
Yes.
And I love how, like, every time we chat with him, he's like, I feel like I just talked forever. I'm like, yeah, exactly.
That's the point.
That's the point.
Yeah.
I love talking to Michael. He's so great. And yeah.
Lots of insights, lots of wisdom. Absolutely. Okay. Well, then we will transition to our favorite segment of our solo episodes, which is what, Tori, is a win for you this week?
Well, and I think it is a little bit directly related to Michael as well. But this year, in the last year in general, I've been really good at getting to know more people in the community and meeting new people, doing lots of one-on-ones, but also going to more networking events. And Michael recently had one for the Narwhal Pod that he invited me to. And I met a ton of people, had some leads, but also just like met a lot of potential collaborators and just some really cool people. So from that, I've had like a lot of one-on-one meetings that I've done. I've signed up for another networking event that's not related to Michael, but it's just he's continued to invite me to things and send things my way and really inspired me to get out there more and meet people more. So thank you, Michael, for that. What about you? What's your win?
My win for this week is similar. I've had more opportunities to like speak, present, and provide training to small businesses and nonprofits. Yay. So it's funny. I don't know if we were chatting about this at the time. So I created this whole series of workshops called Marketing Mondays at the beginning of 2024. And I think I promoted it and like at the end of the year and like only a couple people signed up and I was really bummed, but I had like the content. And then I did also teach it to like it was like a train the trainer thing for one of the nonprofits in Portland. And then Eliana, who we had on, gosh, was that last year already? Yeah, that was last year at some point. She told me about an organization that was looking for somebody to do digital marketing workshops and made the contact between us. And they were thrilled. They were like, this is exactly what we're looking for. So I just signed a contract with them and I will be teaching Wednesday nights for 90 minutes on my 9 workshops that I already created. So nice. My task in the next couple of weeks is to actually like look over my materials and be like, what has changed? Instagram now only lets you have 5 hashtags, things like that, and make sure that it's current. But yeah, I'm really excited to have an opportunity to train people on marketing and make it less intimidating for folks. Cause yeah, I feel like I'm very blessed and spoiled that I discovered marketing in high school. So not everybody gets to do that for this long.
And even if you didn't, like, you're just like your natural talent for reading people and figuring out how to communicate with people is there. And I think that's also just like another really important. You said, I'm so proud of you. Good job.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, connecting with people. So yeah. All right. So on the flip side, Tori, what is your
Yes.
do better for this week?
Yes, I think just like remembering that I can't do everything all at once. And I think we talked about this recently, but I had been sick for like a whole month almost.
Yeah.
And I'm still honestly kind of recovering. And I'm still judging myself based on how much work I can get done in a day and in a week. And I'm still like getting back into routine. My son is still getting back into routine. And I don't know, I just reminding myself that I'm one person and I can't do it all
Mm-hmm.
in one day, and it's going to be fine.
Choose one small win per day that you would feel would be good
I
enough.
love that.
Yeah, that's usually, I mean, I make my to-do lists every day, but usually what's at the top is like, if I at least get this done, I will feel good that I accomplished, the day. But yeah. Okay.
I love that.
Now, I have to do my do better.
Yes, yours. What's your do better?
I have been doing a lot of networking. So my do better is kind of like balancing in person and virtual like networking with like actually getting work done. So I was supposed to go to a thing tomorrow that I was just like, you know what? As fun as it would be to go do that, I should focus on getting work done because I have vacation coming up and I would like to enjoy the vacation
Yeah.
and not worry about things. So yeah, so I'm still trying to figure out a balance. And I think maybe for the summer months, I might like just choose to like hunker down at a coffee shop and be like, this is the time that I'm here. Come, like, not really like an office hoursy type of thing, but be like, if this is the day we're gonna meet, this is the day we're gonna meet, and run it that way.
Right.
So yeah.
Fair. Well, good for you.
Thank you.
You got this.
Yeah. Also, with how much more expensive gas has been getting, I'm just like, do I really want to drive across town to go do this thing, or would I rather just like stay at home and chill? So
We haven't gone camping yet this year. And normally we've gone camping a couple of times by now.
yeah,
And like we're not going Memorial Day weekend. Like we are gonna go out this summer, like at least a couple of times.
yeah.
But it's like we're so hesitant to do it because like we
Oh,
normally go to the beach.
mhm.
It's gonna be, we calculated it out, for the truck to pull our trailer.
Yeah.
It's
Plus,
gonna cost like several $100s
just to get out there.
just to get out there. Then there's like all the other
Yeah.
fees like
Mhm.
associated with the traveling. So we're just like, this is not worth it anymore.
Yeah, especially with the trailer, because I know that costs
That makes
a
it worse.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot to pull that. I remember it when I was talking to Justin because I was telling him about wanting the Ford Lightning, like the chargeable, like the
Mhm.
plug-in, the hybrid, or it's not even a hybrid, it's a plug-in electric truck. And he was just like, yeah, they also don't get good mileage because pulling like takes a
Yeah.
lot. And I was like, oh, bummer.
Mhm. It's rough. And even if we just took my car and bought a hotel, like
Mhm.
it's like, I don't know, it's just like it doesn't make, like, even with just the gas, it's still expensive.
Yeah. Plus,
Well, we're not
during
saving
the
that
summer,
much.
yeah. Well, and for the summer, it gets
Yeah.
more expensive to go to the coast. Yeah.
So we're just like, okay, well, we'll go camping at some point this summer, but it's probably not going to be like super far away.
Yeah.
And it's probably just going to be like like a couple little weekend trips here and there. But yeah, I think it's just not worth it
Yeah.
to spend a ton of money
Mhm.
this year, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah. Well, maybe the geopolitical things that are causing our gas to be so expensive
Yeah.
will resolve themselves by summer camping season. One can hope.
I hope. One can hope.
Okay, last little bit. Tell me about your favorite media content right now.
Okay, this is a really silly one. So it's a book series, and I've been renting them from Libby. So
Mhm.
each book, I want to say there's like 7 books now.
Ooh.
Each book comes from Libby every like few weeks or whatever. So then when the newest book arrives, I'm like, yay, and so I'm listening to them,
Oh.
and the narrator's pretty good, but the story, so it's called, I want to say the first one's called like Finley Donovan is killing it or something.
Okay.
And then there's like each title's like different. It is like the most ridiculous series with the most ridiculous set of circumstances. Like basically the whole premise is she goes to meet her book agent because she's an author at like a Panera Bread in like New Jersey or something. And she writes like crime novels or like murder mysteries. And someone overhears them talking and their conversation of her describing a scene.
Yeah.
And she thinks she's an assassin. So then she is like, oh, I need you to kill my husband. And she's like, no, I'm a writer. And then it just goes off the rails from there.
I love it.
Like, and she just keeps putting herself in the most, like the weirdest set of circumstances. She ends up like meeting people from the mob, and like it just keeps going from there.
I love it.
And she also has 2 toddlers. And in my head, and she's a single mom because her husband like cheated on her and they're getting a divorce. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. This is the most ridiculous thing. And I cannot stop listening to it.
I love it.
It's so fun. Like, it's just so funny. And it's just so wild that it's like, okay, this is relaxing. This is fun.
I liked it.
Anyway, I saw that Tina Fey picked it up and is going to produce a show.
Ooh,
out of
fun.
it.
So I should read it
silly.
before that comes out. I love it.
Yes, it's very silly. It's very like it's very different from everything else like I'm reading right now. So it's like a nice little break in between like, you know, other stuff. So
I love it.
What about you?
Okay, so my mom had recommended this movie to us, and sometimes when she recommends things, they're not that great. But this one was a good one, and I feel like it's very fitting. Even though I watched it a little while ago, I feel like it's very fitting to go with our episode with Michael. So it's called Anniversary. It's got Diane Lane in it, and the guy that I don't know what his name is, but he acts as the dad in a lot of things. They're getting together for their wedding anniversary, and they're meeting their son's, like, at the time, fiance or like new wife or something like that. She writes a book that is like basically like a new it's like a new idea for like a way to run like government stuff, but not, feels very culty vibes. And so it gets like more ridiculous and more ridiculous. And it was it's like a whole political like thing, but I highly recommend it. It is a little creepy because I'm like, oh my God, something like it felt really real. Like this could happen in like real life sort of thing. And so, yeah, she was just like, John's going to love it. It's really political, you know, like it's like political and all of this stuff. And then John was like, that just made me really uncomfortable. And I was like, I think it's really uncomfortable because like, this is something that could happen, because it was like she wrote the thing, there was this like big following for it, you know, they used like social media and videos, like the other kid starts listening to it, like all of this stuff. And so if you're feeling in the mood for a dystopian what could happen kind of movie,
that's the one.
I strongly recommend Anniversary.
Okay,
but yeah
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Great. Awesome. Well,
this is a great one.
Thank you, Tori, for another fantastic episode.
Yes, of course.
Listeners, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week with our next guest. I'm going to start doing this. We're going to say who the next guest is going to be. We'll have Sam Pollock on next week.
Yes.
Returning guest, Sam Pollock. So we are excited for that and hope that you'll tune in with us. And bye for now.
Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Take the Leap podcast. Check out our show notes to connect with us and our guests. If you have questions about the episode or ideas for future topics, send us a direct message on Instagram or email us at aloha@taketheleap-today.com. If you're interested in being a guest, fill out the guest interest form on our website.
If you're a new entrepreneur who is looking for a roadmap to move your business idea forward, check out the Take the Leap course on our website, taketheleap-today.com. Members who join the course also have an opportunity to join us in bi-weekly co-working and group coaching calls to build momentum and work on your business.
And if you'd like a flavor of what we offer, sign up for our free webinar with the 9 essential steps you need to launch your business with clarity and confidence. See you next time.